No matter who you are, meaning no matter what your rising sign is, no matter what your birthday is, you have Capricorn. You have 30 degrees of Capricorn in your chart, in your birth chart. And that is the whole purpose of this video series, is for each of us to better understand the 360 degrees of our lives, because there's 12 signs of the zodiac, and you are every single sign of that zodiac. Right, 30 degrees to each sign. 30 times 12. Right. So we get 360 degrees. So there's 30 degrees of Capricorn somewhere in your chart. If you don't have your chart, now's a good time to comment to me below and say, gee, I need my chart. And then we will get the ball rolling for you. Okay. So we would think of career and work, a vocation. We're thinking of, how do I establish my long-term financial security? Like, what do I got to do? How do I do this? How do I build this? What am I building? What am I building to sustain me for the long term? You see, Capricorn is pretty much material and tangible. So for some folks, buying a home, like the sticks and the bricks, literally buying a house, it represents that material security. You see, even if it's, we think of what a home is, it's also an investment. Yeah. And so we think of investments. We think of some things that we hold on to for a long time, because over time they mature and they compound in their value and possibly the interest. And the goal eventually is that will give us that long-term security. And typically, it's something we can hold in our hand, although you can't hold a house in your hand, but I could hold the deed in my hand or sell the home. And, well, if I was really crazy about it, I could go ahead and get all that cash and hold it in my hand, right? So it's the idea of we're building something. So it's really rather serious. It's serious and it's structured and organized. It might even feel heavy because it's all about duty and responsibility. Think about that, right? You're going to be a big boy or a big girl, and you're like, okay, it's probably time for me to settle down and get married. We start to become more serious minded, right? We start thinking, well, I can't just live nilly-willy and just be traveling and having fun and going to concerts all the time. I mean, I can, but after a while, I might sit back and be like, what else is there to life? And some folks may think or feel like, wow, what about a family? Maybe some people start thinking beyond that. It's almost like with Capricorn energy, you want that thing to still be there beyond your death, because it is your legacy. Like, you worked so hard at it, right? You built and build and build, and it's something that can be looked upon, may even be reflected upon by others. You know how you go into the parks and there's park benches, or even to certain historical sites, and there's monuments, even statues, monuments to somebody in history. Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn rules time. So Capricorn energy, something that's been built up over a long period of time, which means there's some history involved here because it's been around for a while. Yeah. Financial security, future security, handling responsibility, reaching goals, success and recognition. I don't ever mention that enough. Recognition and success. Management skills, authority figures, having a controlling tendency, because if I'm the one who's in charge, if I'm the authority, I might want to hold on tightly to that, where it's over an abundance of being the boss kind of energy. Like, I'm in charge, I'm the boss of you type of thing. Whether it's with your friends or with your finances or with your children or in the home or at work, right? Wherever that energy is, your Capricorn energy, do you feel like you're the authority in that area of your life, or you must retain control? Competition, competitiveness. Capricorn energy, really, really competitive. I think competition is really healthy. And so Capricorn energy is also like, we think business and corporations. And we think how in a healthy economy and with capitalism, like, I don't think capitalism is a bad thing. We don't have a monopoly. We don't have just one or two businesses that corner the market and where nobody else can get their foot in edgewise. No, I think we, as a consumer, we should have options. I think having competition kind of nudges the others to do better at what they're doing, to offer, whether it's value and services. And I think that's healthy. Think about it. If you only had one option for something, and for some folks, they only have one option for their internet. Some folks, they only have one option for what did it used to be? One option for your cable, right? And so people were locked in. It was either that have or have not, right? So competition can be beneficial. Obviously, the extreme of any of these things, well, it's extreme. So here's some more suggestions and keywords. Time, we mentioned that. It's a long period of time. And the other thing, it slows things down. When we're paying attention to Capricorn in our chart and the location, or just in our life, if all of a sudden you're in the midst of something and you realize, okay, all of a sudden there's like roadblocks and there's stop signs and I'm getting delay, 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 right? Like this is Saturn. This is Capricorn energy. It's also, of course, because it's Capricorn, it's kind of like, I'm the boss and we're going to move and do this when I say. You will jump when I say jump and you'll jump however high I ask you to jump and you'll do it as many times as I say. But until then, don't budge. Like that's the Capricorn strong arm, authoritarian, extreme energy, right? There should always be deadlines, right? Otherwise, it's taking it to the extreme. As long as there's healthy deadlines involved, deadlines are a must because it helps us to reach a goal. Capricorn energy, goal, keyword, goal. Making sensible decisions. Capricorn is very grounded. It's an earth sign. It is the last earth sign. We think of the first earth sign being Taurus, right? Driven by its desire. It's the first earth sign. So can be a little bit young for sure, a little green behind the ears because it's really driven by its desires, whatever those desires are. We think of earthy energy and we think of passion, the smells, the taste, the touch, the food, the planet itself, right? And the sounds, the sensuality things. We think of the smells of something. We think how certain things can actually even trigger us, right? Trigger us to the degree where we may be driven or repulsed by something. But then we go next to Virgo. And Virgo tends to be a little bit more organized and structured. It's the next earth sign. So it's a little bit more about organizing my values because I've already acquired some of those Taurian tendencies, my money in the bank, my values, desire, Taurus energy, right? Banking. But then we go to Virgo, and Virgo's more like, okay, so we kind of got to get ready. We kind of got to be organized. We're going to go to work. We're going to work with a purpose. We're going to serve in some way, usually some practical, tangible way. Lots of Taurus energy can be like farmers, right? Virgos can be gardeners, right? Virgo energy in the food and the earth and holistics and being more trying to stay in balance and not going hardcore where it's just perfection, 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 which is extreme, 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 because that's Virgo. It can go that way, but it's the mixture. It's the mixture. So we're trying to achieve a balance in Virgo. So how does that then evolve into Capricorn, the next earth sign? It evolves because it becomes more about what I'm doing to sustain the long term. So we think of marathon energy, right? These people are older, they've been around the block a few times. Uh, Again, it comes down to, yeah, I don't know why, but that freaking Top Gun movie, um, um, I forget what the saying was in there, and I know it's been said in other places. It's not the vehicle or it's not the machine, it's the driver. It's not the oh, it was from Indiana Jones too. I think it was maybe it was I don't know who said it first, but anyway, it's not the years, it's the mileage type of thing, right? Because it's about the experience and Capricorn energy takes the Taurus and the Virgo energy and it says, I got experience with this. Okay, so the experience becomes well, we become the boss because of our experience. We're wiser because of our experience. We're put in charge because of our experience, because we've put in the time. We climbed that ladder and we put in that time. You see, that's Capricorn energy. So it's considered mature. Maturity. It's also talked about in terms of retirement and old age. And I feel like in our culture, at least now, and I use the word culture loosely because I don't know, man. It's embarrassing being a United States citizen. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but um, there are some things from our seniors and from the ancient ones that are revered and that we listen to, but then at the same time, because our world moves so fast and wants everything faster and almost has zero patience, it's as though we're moving too slow and that person or that thing doesn't move fast enough. And if it's not fast enough, internet, right? If it's not fast enough, we get angry and frustrated with it. But that includes the people. And so, because someone might be more slow or more um, like what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to carefully think before I speak and choose my words wisely. And many times that can get confused or purposely mislabeled as, well, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. And I'm mostly kind of thinking about, my mom, who's definitely in retirement years. She just turned 85 and she's had a rough last, you know 12, 14 months have been tricky for her. And that's to be expected at that age. And there are times where she definitely is having those moments, right? She has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. But then there are those other moments where if you just slow down and let her speak and try to understand, like, is there a piece of her and her rationality that is there? And can you follow where she's going with it or where it came from and how she got to what she's saying? You usually can spot it pretty easily because at least we have found there are either these stories that she'll tell that are super exaggerations, and we've had to check them out and to see, okay, did this happen? Did this happen? And no, none of this ever happened. There was nothing violent, but yet sometimes she'll talk about that. And then there's other times when you can talk with her and it's slow, it's deliberate. If you don't have the patience to listen to fully what she's talking about and to understand, then you don't realize she might be finishing up a conversation she just had with someone she just got done talking with. And that, because she was talking to me about shoes and footwear today, and then a wedding, and then but she didn't explain the wedding part until the very end of the conversation, and I kept thinking, why is she talking about shoes? And then at the very butt end of the conversation, I put the two and two together. I have a sibling who's getting married in a couple of months, and my mom's been really concerned about it, about herself and being able to be there and having proper clothing to wear. And so footwear was the discussion. Anyhow, and this has happened multiple times. This was just an example where, as the conversation got on and as she kind of primed the pump a little further, I could see the logic in what she was talking about. And it made perfect sense. And it lined up with her reality of what's going on in her life. And so sometimes, again, because those of us who are younger, our minds are moving faster, our world is so much faster, there's a huge disconnect. And anytime something or someone seems a bit slower, I think it's easy to be like, okay, they're freaking nuts, or whatever. So anyway, it's I think some of the Taurus energy, earth energy, and Capricorn is earth energy, is combining some of that of being able to have the patience not only for ourselves and working diligently towards something and not giving up and keep plucking away at it little by little, by piecemeal even, right? One rung on the ladder at a time, but possibly also for others. And whether it's about their conversations, their life, what they're going through, sometimes if we could just slow down a little bit, like they say, slow down and smell the roses, we will see that there are things for those who are experienced and who are seasoned, the seasoned veterans, my seasoned cast iron pan, best pan in the whole house. Love it, love it, love it. Like, seriously, I can make eggs in it, sunny side up. Like, you would be shocked, right? But there's no substitute for it. And it's a great example of Capricorn energy, a cast iron skillet. It's rock hard. I can drop that damn thing on the ground. It ain't going to break. It can be very cold. It will last for almost next to forever. That's Capricorn energy. Saturn, Capricorn energy. Self-discipline, adult behavior, keeping commitments, being competent, and the public image, because it's like the public stage. People are going to be aware of who we are. We're doing things that are more out in the open. And if we're the person in charge, or if we're like the boss of this thing, people are coming to us because we're kind of like the authority on this thing, whatever that thing is for you in your life. Where's your Capricorn energy in your chart? That's an area of your life where you do this thing, this innate wisdom you have, whether you're aware of it or not. There's something there you got where like you're the authority of it. Ambitions, defining our goals, using opportunities. It's professional and it's hard work. Hard work for sure. Hardest workers you'll ever meet, Capricorns. And that goes for lots of different ways in someone's chart, right? Capricorn of sun sign, Capricorn in whatever house it's in. You might have planets there, wherever your Saturn is in. Capricorn and Saturn, they rule the 10th house. So there's a lot of different ways that can look, even if you're not a Capricorn birthday. Don't worry about it. You have Capricorn energy in your chart. Trust me. And these qualities and traits absolutely exist in you in some way. Accomplishments, things we've accomplished, getting the recognition, social status, and achieving goals. Following the rules and the protocol, the standard operating procedures, delegating responsibility, being in charge, being respectful. Father figures, authority figures, bosses at the job, bosses in general, authority figures in general. Tradition. I love using that word with Cappi. Tradition. What about reputation? Reputation. Because it precedes you. It's something you've kind of already established, right? A lack of joy because we're so darn serious, and possibly even being very stern and being pessimistic, being inflexible, like I refuse, I will not budge. That's Capricorn. A fear of new approaches, fear, Capricorn energy, Capricorn and Saturn, a fear. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not saying this isn't true. I'm not saying I haven't felt fear. But I'm truly trying to understand, I'm trying to better understand that whole fear thing with Capricorn. Is it just simply like because there's rules, and if you don't follow the rules, there's going to be consequences, that kind of fear? I guess so. Maybe that's just all it is. I was brought up 12 years, private Catholic school. And so lots of rules, lots of expectations. Wasn't just the rules of the school, like be a good student, get your grades in on time, blah, blah, blah. But then there was the whole Catholic stuff, the fear and damnation, that kind of crap where, yeah, well, maybe I just connected the dot. I don't know. God is the authority in my life, the ultimate authority in my life. So maybe that's that too, then. All right. I just had to, sometimes if things don't make sense to me, I have to figure out how it makes sense. But it says fear of new approaches. So, in other words, fear of change, self justification. Self justification. So, here's a thing where it says if you were to make a new moon wish and it's applying it to this one, it says, I want the compulsive need to take personal credit easily lifted from me. So, in other words, it's constantly kind of shining a light on ourselves, like the personal credit of, oh, I did that. I did that. Me. I did that. Yeah, I did that. So I get the reward. I get the honors. I get the blue ribbon for it type of a thing. Anyway, how about the body? What are some things with Capricorn in the body? You often hear me say it's the hard parts of the body. What else do I say about Cappi? The knees, the skull, the teeth, and the spine for sure. Bones of the body and the joints. Arthritis and rheumatism. Oh, interesting. Also here it says gallbladders and gallstones for Capricorn. Well, that makes sense. The hard things in the okay. Now I get it. Gallbladders and gallstones, knees, skin, psoriasis, and itching. Okay, itching. Interesting. Really interesting. What are some recommended intentions? Here's some examples that she gives where if you're having a new moon in Capricorn and if you're trying to make improvements or if there are things in Capricorn energy that you kind of want to bring into your life where you're like, I want to be better in this way. I want to improve in this way in my life. Some examples for health. I want a total healing to occur in the area of my blank, fill in the blank. And so that could be my bones and joints, my spine, my back, arthritis, rheumatism, gallbladder, gallstones, knees. You just fill in the blank there, right? Another one. I want to easily attract, recognize, and begin working with the right healers for me that restore my, and then you fill in the blank of the Capricorn area in your body, right? I want to attract right information that leads to a total healing of my tendency to, and then in parentheses, it says the body distress associated with Capricorn. So whether it's a total healing of a tendency to, for problems with the back or problems with the knees, problems with the gallbladders and arthritis and rheumatism, whatever that might be. How about I want to easily find myself taking action that leads to me successfully restoring my, and then fill in the blank. Again, when you're filling in the blank, you want to do it using the Capricorn traits. Okay. That's how you're working with the energy. Some other examples in the book that are given here. I want to easily find myself following traditional routes leading to success. I want to easily find myself behaving in ways that enhance my reputation. I want all self sabotaging tendencies to control others totally lifted from me. I want the habit of justifying myself to others totally lifted from me. I want to easily find myself managing my life in a way that allows plenty of time for work, play, and family. I want to easily find myself experiencing healthy self respect and respect for others in all situations. I want to welcome the possibility that a new approach will make my goals easier to reach. I like that one. I want the habit of usurping others' responsibility easily lifted from me. I want to clearly see how I can support my boss in a mutually beneficial way. That's a good one. Mutually beneficial way. I want to easily find myself filled with the energy of ambition. Yeah, ambition. Big Capricorn word. I want all anxiety around success totally lifted from me. How about this one? I want to easily find myself responding to the aging process in a way that is in my best interests. I want all fears of growing old totally lifted from me. I want to easily find myself making decisions that provide a secure financial base for my golden years. I like that one, Cappi.